Unplug it. Now we got all this time elapsing. Travis Wayne Goodsell. If you were a woman and I were a man. Wait a minute, I am a man. I guess that's where I can sing that kind of a song. So, even though the title of the video has very little to do with the subject matter, it got your attention, didn't it? Because, yeah, I'm not making fun of the missionary for dying. That is kind of sad. But having been a teenager, I understand that you want to show off to others, especially in front of cute girls. In this particular case, it was a group of boys who were on scooters, electric scooters, and he was showing off, and cost him his life. But the video theme is about the highest degree of the celestial kingdom. Who gets to go? And it changed with Brigham Young. And I've been warning you about this, and nobody wants to believe. Everybody wants to blame Joseph. It's like you guys are purposely leaving the church to try to claim that you're the bad guys now, but you're still blaming Joseph, which makes the church the good guys. But yeah, Joseph Smith was all about individuals, couples, getting to the highest degree of the celestial kingdom. It wasn't about polygamy. And so in the Mormon afterlife and after judgment, Mormons go to a kingdom of glory. Everybody goes to a kingdom of glory. And so I guess we need to start from the beginning. In Mormon theology, it's not about a heaven and hell. That is the spirit world, which is right here among us, because it's the spirit world, not the physical world, which the spirit is physical in Mormon theology. And so Mormons don't know it, so who cares, right? And so we have an immediate judgment upon death. We're either good and go to spirit paradise, or we're bad and we go to spirit hell. And Mormons are a little squeamish about saying hell, so they'll say spirit prison. Or HE double hockey sticks, which is the favorite sport of Canada. I think it's the only sport in Canada. It's the only one on the news. That's the #1 news story in Canada. Then the Queen. Nope, sorry, correction. A. Second is the weather. Then the Queen, which is now the King. Good times. Good times. But I swear, turn on the news, boom, hockey, boom, weather, boom, Queen. Without fail. And then the local murders and rapes and thefts and crimes. Got to get your priorities straight for the news, all right? And so, then comes the big judgment day at the first resurrection of the latter days, which there's already been a first resurrection, but it stopped to restart again in the latter days, because Mormons believe they're Christian with Jesus. And this is where it screwed me up on the one document that I couldn't figure out, and now I know why. Now it needs to be updated, even though it's got me at 5% on academia. But nonetheless, and that was the only book that I had edited. I had an actual professional editor work on that book for me. And, so, it's only for the Celestial Kingdom, the first one, at the millennium, which is next year, by the way. So in case you're wondering, next year, 8 April 2024, is the start of the millennium. You don't know this because you're not watching my channel. So, surprise! and so, at that point, there's going to be a resurrection of the just, those who go to the Celestial Kingdom. If you're found to not be worthy for the Celestial Kingdom, you have to go back to prison and wait another period of time, a couple hundred years or so, until the second resurrection for the terrestrial kingdom, and then to the end of the millennium, when the world's going to explode and Satan's going to be unleashed and try to take the throne with his armies of spirit zombies, and big battle ensues, and apparently he loses still. Spoiler alert. Scriptures provide a spoiler. and then telestial. And so, if you're wondering about outer darkness, if you've heard about it, no, none of you get to go. You're not worthy enough. Yeah, you have to be worthy in order to be sent to outer darkness. You have to be a celestial candidate and then just say, nope, not interested. See ya. And it usually involves anger and wanting to murder, Jesus. I hate you, Jesus. I don't want the Celestial Kingdom. It's only a flesh wound. And you get to go to outer darkness for the rest of eternity. And then the brethren used to talk about how what might ensue if your elements are ripped apart and back to their basic form to be recomposed at a later time in some other form or fashion, but they got lost along that forbidden path to the great and spacious building, and they couldn't figure it out. So, missionaries, automatic Celestial Kingdom. If you're in the service of the Lord, automatic Celestial Kingdom. Babies, under 8 years old kids, despite the terror they cause you, Celestial Kingdom if you murder them. That's what Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow were thinking. I hope they get the chair, or the gas chamber, or the firing squad, or the hangman's noose, whatever they do in Idaho. Dear God, they found her hairs on the tape used to tie up the bodies. Why don't they just shoot them in court? Don't they do that anymore? So, yeah. Then there have been some other exemptions. When Brigham Young found out that the missionaries who were part of the Perpetual Immigration Fund were stranded in the snow and dying, he stopped conference, sent out all the elders to go get them. He stayed behind. Take care of all the women. And they went out, and there were some stories about how 2 elders carried across the women and children with their bare hands in the freezing waters, and they got them all across, and then they died. And so, yeah, Brigham Young says they get to go to the Celestial Kingdom. So, sacrifice. Also, giving your life for another person also gets you to the Celestial Kingdom. And so, with the video I just pulled, which is hilarious, by the way. Hilarious. What if Jesus were somebody else? What if Jesus was Jesusiah, the female form? What if Jesus was a woman? You know, I watched Dogma last week. Alanis Morissette's God. Isn't that cool? I don't understand the whole not talking thing, but that's a Catholic thing, not Mormon thing. See, if it were Mormon dogma, the mere presence of Heavenly Father and Jesus would burn everybody to ash. But nope, Catholic is just, you can see God, but you can't hear Him. I'm not listening, I can't hear you. So yeah, if you've got a different religious belief, there are different dogmas and different Hollywood movies that you can make with them. So that's the whole point, is that what if Jesus is a woman? The whole scenario changes. And so, yeah, what if Jesus is transgender? Yeah, well, now you've got a situation where Mormons don't seem to understand. It's white supremacist Jesus for Mormons. It is not GOP Jesus, which hilarious videos on YouTube. But yeah, when you change the nature and character of God, you change the theology. And that's what Mormons are trying to do to the prophets, who have demanded that everybody just accept it, get over it, move along, obey and pay up. And Mormons refuse. They're in denial. Say LGBTQ. It's white supremacist Jesus. They're never gonna change. It's not really transgender Jesus. White supremacist Jesus hates you. He doesn't like you. And he is planning on putting you back in the electric chair for conversion therapy in the millennium. I've warned you about this. You don't believe me. Did you not watch the news? When did they finally stop it in Utah? Oh, 2021. And the church came out and said, hey, we want it reinstated. You missed all that, didn't you? Because you don't believe me. I'm not any kind of authority on the matter. Who am I to tell you what the church is up to? The church would be honest with us, wouldn't they? They've been so honest about Joseph, our founder. Why would they lie to us? And so, yeah, white supremacist Jesus hates blacks and anybody of color. So why is the NAACP still trying to work with the church? Oh, it's just to get as much money out of them as they can. But you don't work with the devil, because the devil will stab you in the back. And so instead, they decide, hey, let's give the Great Black Man Award to President Russell M. Nelson, a known and established racist. I did the videos, I presented the audio, and nobody wants to believe, so nobody watched, nobody cared. And so, yeah, a big difference if Jesus were a black man, as all blacks seem to indicate. And they try to justify it and say, well, during the Roman period of time, the Jews were actually black. Mary wasn't Jew. She was an Hellenized Jew, which means she was Greek, so she was more olive-skinned. None of that is true. Constantine created Jesus as an anti-Semite. And so thus all of Christianity are anti-Semites. And if you refuse to be an anti-Semite, you're rebelling against your own religion, regardless of which shattered branch off you are. And so, yeah, did you not know the dream of Daniel's, or the dream that Daniel interpreted of Nebuchadnezzar about the statue of multi-metals? Yeah, you guys are the clay mixed with iron of Roman Emperor Constantine. And you shattered. And so, yeah, you're not the true church. Sorry. I tried to focus on Mormons, but you keep pushing it. And so, but yeah, I hope you can see how having a different nature and character of Jesus changes the religion. The Methodists, for example, their Jesus was anti-LGBTQ. And then all of a sudden, hey, let's be pro-LGBTQ with Jesus who accepts LGBTQ. And now you've got a fractured church. They've split into pro and anti-Jesus LGBTQ. And so the Methodists are in turmoil right now. And so, as white supremacist Jesus for Mormons, they hate women. They use all of these groups they hate to be tokens of how they're not haters, which shows they are haters, because if you have to use a token, you're a hater. Because when was the last time you saw a black man in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles who was going to be in line to be the president of the church? When were you going to see a woman who holds the priesthood, let alone be allowed to be a part of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles in line for the president of the church? Yeah. Joseph Smith, by the way, gave women priesthood and priesthood office. It's in the Joseph Smith papers. It destroys this church alone. But there are many other things that destroy this church too. I've been doing the videos. You don't watch. You don't believe. So again, Joseph Smith's Jesus is not the same as Brigham Young's Jesus. And it's not the same as Heber J. Grant's Jesus. It's not the same as Nelson's Jesus. They're all different. And so, yeah, they hate the poor, hate LGBTQ. They hate. You have to be a white male in the Mormon church. They will be the leaders, and you have to be compromised and commit crime for the church to make you a leader. Nelson gave the order in the Law of Chastity in 2019. You must practice the law of polygamy in order to get the highest degree of celestial kingdom, in order to be worthy as a Mormon. And so, yeah, if you're black, you don't go to the celestial kingdom. You may think you do because you're paying tithing. Reparations to Jesus. Sound familiar? So, yeah, it's a big deal to have the nature and character correct. Because any slight change, and then you're going to get Mormons believing they can change Jesus. With the LGBTQ groups who are saying, hey, you need to welcome us in the church, you need to be more accepting. No, they don't. They're white supremacist Jesus. If you don't like it, you do need to leave, because they aren't going to change. And that is what bullies use as the tactic, is they say, if you don't like it, leave. But it's not a situation where it's a basic necessity. Where if you don't like the food we sell, leave. If you don't like the home you're living in, leave. If you don't like the transportation you have, leave. Yeah, those companies need to change. But for a church, no. You leave. It's not the true church. You leave. So, yeah. Don't you want to be in the celestial kingdom? Well, you need to leave in order to get there.